Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's Sunday night already. Time flies when you're having fun. So what we got today? We're going to talk about obviously Bitcoin finishing up a new weekly high here, so that's great news. We'll see where the miners are right now in pre-hours trading. We'll take a look at also how the miners did against Bitcoin today. We'll take a look at some stories that we have on Bitcoin. Also, give you guys my thoughts on AI a little bit. Been doing a lot of research on it today, actually. Watch a bunch of videos from experts and things like that on it. And man, it's going to be an exciting couple of years here, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years with AI. I'll give you guys my thoughts on that in a little bit. And then we'll get into Q&A, I think. So it should be pretty easy, short and sweet. After my stream here, I'm going to be joining Ernest on X. We're going to talk about, obviously, all the news on the miners this past week. We're also going to maybe have some CEOs from companies show up as well, or some management show up there. We'll see if that happens. If it does, that's going to be great. If not, we'll go through the news as always. And yeah, it should be a pretty fun night. All right, as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for anyone only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And Bitcoin had a nice pump here over the weekend here. You can see it here in the charts. Well, I'm looking at the weekly chart right now on it. But Bitcoin today had a nice little run up here. Was up 1.27%, looks like. It went back up to 119,465 is where we closed. We're down a little bit on the new day for Monday, a little bit, not much, but it's not that big of a deal. The good thing is Bitcoin here did finish out the week actually with a new all-time high, it looks like. And we got to a high on the weekly. We closed at 119,465. Prior one was 119,130. So we're up a little bit over 2 weeks ago, right? The week prior to that, we had a red week. This one, we had a green week. So we finished out pretty strong here, and it might be a continuation of a nice little uptrend that we're going to see here going forward in this week as we close out the month of July. So we got a couple more days in July here for the miners and for Bitcoin itself, and we'll see where we end up right at that point here. Miners obviously weren't trading here today. We do have some trades going on in pre-hours right now. We got BitDeer being up 2.53%. We got Bitfarms being up, wow, Bitfarms up nicely, 7.31% right now. That one's doing pretty good. We got Kango being down 3.675. We got Cypher being up 3.55. So it looks like the miners are starting to kind of run a little bit here. Cleanspark up 2.79, it looks like. CORZ Scientific up just a little bit, 1.82. Hive being actually up 0.4% there. And then we got Hot 8 being up up higher, 2.55%. IREN being up, let's see, what's that one at? 265 right now. Mara being up let's see where that one finishes out. There's been a lot of trading going on in that one. 2.49. And then we got Riot being up. That's one's got some trading also catching up here. That one's at 2.82%. And lastly but not least, TeraWolf is up 3.68%. So the miners are having a pretty good start to the week here. We'll see if this continues tomorrow, or they start out great and then they take a dump on us like we have seen it here in the last week or two. So there's that as far as what the miners are doing. The network hash rate is also going up here. We can see this. This is on the 30-day average. The network hash rate is getting back up to where it was basically, I think, in beginning of June there. We're up to 903 exahash right now. And then back in, see, this was June 16th, we were at 908 exahash. So we definitely had a dip here in the last month or so. We went down to 867 on the 30-day average. The 7-day average looks like we're getting back up to our previous all-time high, which was like 943. We got to 942 exahash here on the weekly. On the daily, yeah, we haven't reached our peak yet, which was 1,066 exahash, but we are getting closer to it as time progresses here. So that's happening. That's obviously going to result in the miners generating a little bit less. Plus, we're probably going to see a difficulty adjustment as well on top of that also. So there's those stories that we have to cover. As far as Bitcoin right now, for the month of July, it's up 11.48%. So pretty good July so far. We'll close it out later on this week. We'll see where we end up at, but I'm guessing we're probably going to be somewhere between where we are now and maybe like 15% by the end of the week here when Bitcoin goes into August month there. Bitcoin ETF inflows for Friday. We did have some positive inflows, $130 million inflow in Bitcoin ETFs. IBIT bought 92.8 million. Definitely on the smaller side here for them. The last couple of days have been kind of small compared to what we've seen here in the in the past. We saw a billion, we saw 394 million, 416 million, 763 million, 497 million, 496, and then we're seeing these smaller amounts like, what's going on there? But maybe we'll start seeing some more inflows as Bitcoin price goes up. So we'll see. A couple of news stories that we do have here as well. We got the global liquidity surge sets stage for Bitcoin price explosion. So with the global M2 money supply climbing to an all-time high of 95 trillion to 96 trillion, Bitcoin trading between 117,000 and 118,000 in the past 24 hours looks set to capture serious upside in 2025 as liquidity floods into the assets. So not only Bitcoin but others as well. And I do believe that's going to be the case. At least we're seeing that play out here recently, right? Where we're seeing the M2 money supply and the chart on Bitcoin correlate with like a 100-day offset on those. So we're going to be going up here. It doesn't look like that's going to be changing anytime soon. It's not going to be a straight line up, but it's going to be a bumpy ride. But we'll get there. We'll get through this, and we'll get to much higher prices on Bitcoin as well, right? We're thinking still maybe around 200,000 by the end of the year, and then possibly going up even more later on next year as well. So there's that. And then this was kind of interesting as well. Has Bitcoin been co-opted? Ancient whale sale examined, right? We talked about this, I think it was on Friday's stream. We talked about the, 80,000 Bitcoin being sold for like $9 billion there. And Scott Melker, host of the Wolf of Wall Street podcast and cryptocurrency analyst, has weighed in on the possibility of Bitcoin being co-opted from its original purpose with recent sales of giant whales. Melker's opinion sparked a debate on the meaning of this on social media. If you guys were following it, I did follow it along there as well. I thought it was pretty interesting. And I don't know if to be honest, I don't think Bitcoin has been co-opted. I think it's just Bitcoin's getting adoption. We knew adoption was going to happen eventually, right? One way or another as time progresses, but we're seeing definitely a huge spike in adoption here from not only countries, states, private companies, public companies, all buying up Bitcoin here as it is. So, I mean, the original premise to Bitcoin was to escape the system, but they're saying basically that the system is now taking over Bitcoin. But that was going to be an eventuality, I think, anyways. One way or another is going to get adopted through the regular systems, the markets, everything else. That was just, it's happening faster than we thought, though. So I think that's maybe the case in point there. But otherwise, we knew, at least I knew this was going to happen eventually. Just didn't think it was going to happen this fast, which I love. The faster it's happening, the faster I can possibly retire. So there's that. You guys can definitely follow Scott Melker on X there. You can find his post there as well on that. All right, next, let me give you guys my thoughts here on AI. So I've been kind of following it more and more as time progresses here, as we're seeing new developments come out from Grok, which is on X. We're seeing new developments from Gemini as well, some new stuff from OpenAI, from others as well. All of this stuff is, I mean, taking shape relatively quickly, and it is mind-blowing. At least to me, it's mind-blowing by the speed of growth that we're seeing there and the speed of the learning and everything else that the AI is doing there. Eventually, the AI, at least what Musk has said, eventually it will be able to basically come up with its own, think of its own new materials, right? So for space, for exploration, for computing, for chips, for medical purposes, healthcare things, right, for your health. It is going to be an exciting, I would say, probably the next 5 to 10, maybe even 15 years as all of this stuff is being built out. You're seeing Elon Musk also say that he wants to have like 1 million GPUs running, and all of this stuff is moving really, really fast here. So I was thinking about it. It's like if these companies like XAI, Google with Gemini, others as well, you got OpenAI as well, but I think OpenAI is going more into consumer-based products, whereas maybe XAI, which XAI could be used within Tesla itself, right? For robots, for obviously for the automation, for cars, for the robots, and then also if they could come up with new materials to produce spacecraft with those things, right? If they can, I mean, if those things get that smart to that point where they are outsmarting us as well, it's going to be a huge impact on those companies that have those AI models, right? I mean, we're going to basically super intelligence at that point, where things are going to change very, very fast here. And that leads me to think, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but I think there's going to be a handful of players that will dominate in the space, and they're going to be making the most revenues from this possible. Well, I mean, they're creating potentially new materials, new medicines, new technologies that we don't even know exist that were possible before. That's going to spark a lot of revenue creation from these guys potentially. And then you'll have obviously the smaller players as well that are maybe a little bit more niche, right? Getting into law, getting into healthcare itself, even medicine, things like that. But I think if these things get as powerful as they seem to be getting, the handful or maybe a little bit more companies that do own these things are going to control everything pretty much at that point, right? If you can do all those things and have the AI creating new materials, new technologies, whatever it might be, they are going to be in it to win it. And I mean, that's why we're seeing a lot of these guys spending, hundreds of billions of dollars on this. But let me know what you guys think on this. But that's just kind of where I'm leaning towards. So some of the smaller players that are in here that we've talked about, like Big Bear or Big Bear AI, right, which has contracts with the United States for defense, for AI purposes there. Those guys will probably do pretty well. They could actually maybe even do better than what I think. But I think that some of the bigger guys here, Google, OpenAI, XAI, who else is in there? Meta is getting into it as well. You got Microsoft, Amazon as well. Those guys, if they can get to super intelligence with these things, are going to be in a league by themselves. So eventually, I'm also thinking that maybe Tesla will buy up XAI. XAI right now is still privately owned, right? And it owns X right now as well, I believe. They swallowed that up as well. But eventually, I think maybe Tesla will actually buy that out, maybe. Because Tesla's got a lot of things going on where it could definitely use that. Material design, things like that, for not only its cars, batteries, and then you got SpaceX that could possibly use the technology as well there. It's going to be interesting. I think that is one to watch there, is to watch XAI. Maybe it does go public. Maybe it stays by itself or Tesla buys it up. I think that'd be the one to watch there. And if Tesla gets it, oh my gosh, I think Tesla stock is going to be going off the charts there at that point if they can get to, super intelligence. All right. But just get my thoughts on it. I'm going to keep an eye on the space more and try to learn more about these companies as time progresses. Not only on them, but on some of the smaller players that are in here that are also trying to get into it. And then my thoughts on some of these guys that are getting into HPC/AI as well, that are becoming more or less data centers, right? Those guys will make money, but I think the big money is going to be made with the ones that will actually own the super intelligence, which is going to be, like I said, XAI, Gemini from Google, OpenAI, some of these other things. Eventually, it's going to be interesting time to see where things go. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts on it. There's a bunch of videos you guys can watch. There's the All In podcast that I watched. They had a special All In summit that happened last week. There's videos on that you can watch. There's also, YouTube videos. I think it's called Moonshots. Can't remember the gentleman's name that does it, but there's a bunch of great videos on that. They were talking about XAI and how fast they were able to build out and what it actually means for us going forward. That was interesting there. What was another one that I watched? Watched quite a few of those. Watched the one with, what is his name? Drawing a blank on it. The original CEO for Google, Gary Schmidt. I think it was Gary Schmidt. Was it Gary Schmidt? It's Schmidt. I remember Schmidt. Might not be Gary, but I know it's Schmidt. He was talking about also the AI stuff there. That was on the Moonshots video as well, or the show there. So a lot of stuff that you guys can definitely take a look at. But yeah, it's going to be exciting times. I'll leave it there. All right. Next, let's get into the miners here. We'll get into Q&A here. And I got 26 minutes before I go on with Ernest here. So let's take a look at miners here really quick against Bitcoin here this past week on this. And here's what we got. So we always look at this chart, right? Where are the miners up from the 52-week lows and how far away are they from their 52-week highs here? We still got strategy doing the best here so far, being up 296%. Kango 255%. Kango obviously became a miner here just recently within the past year, within the past 6 months, I guess you could say, 7 months or so. Maybe 3/4 of a year. I think they bought their first miners in November, so like from December onwards. Cypher is up 247%, so that one's actually beat out here IREN a little bit, 245% there. BitTier's up 171%. Bitcoin's up 139%, so these guys are outperforming Bitcoin. Riot's up 134, pretty close to Bitcoin here right now. Core up 121%, Cleanspark 83%, and Hive 80% as it is right now. And you can see Bitcoin's only 4.4% away from its all-time high, and then Riot's getting pretty close to that as well, 8.4% away from that also on that one. For last week, well, Bitcoin, as I track it Friday to Friday, Bitcoin shows that it was basically just down a little bit here. We actually ended up the week on Sunday being positive, right? But I checked Friday to Friday along with the miners, and we got Bitcoin being more or less flat. BitTR outperforming here 7%, Riot up 5%, Core up 3%, Hive up 2%, Cypher up 2% as well. IREN being down 1%, Strategy being down 4%, Kango down 6%, Cleanspark down 8%, Marathon down 12%. Marathon went down on the news of the convertible note there. On the 4 weeks time frame, things definitely change up here. Bitcoin is up 9%. We only have really Riot outperforming at this point from 4 weeks ago. It's up 19%. Everybody else has underperformed Bitcoin here in the last 4 weeks. And then from 8 weeks ago, well, things definitely changed here. Bitcoin's up only 13%. Everybody else has, well, except for 2. Strategy and Kango have underperformed. Everybody else has outperformed at least a little bit or greatly here. Riot up 80%, Cypher up 107%, IREN up 111%, Cleanspark's up 37%. And then from 12 weeks ago, things look a little bit more different. Bitcoin being up 14%, Strategy underperforming here, only up being 3% from 12 weeks ago. And then we got Cleanspark up 34, Marathon up 19, Kango up 23, Bitcoin talked about that one. IREN being up 171%, Cypher 105%, Hive 27, Core 57, Riot 73, and BitTR 33%. So the miners are outperforming, and basically since April when we had the tariffs debacle at that point. But yeah, so this is looking good. Hopefully this trend continues going forward with Bitcoin going up, 10%. Hopefully the miners will do at least like a 20% on top of that, or better, right? At least like a 2x on Bitcoin here going forward throughout the end of the year. So that'll be good for us and the holders of stocks and these miners. Now, and then here's the table of how things are shaping up. We're seeing definitely a little bit more green here over the last couple of weeks. We saw a lot of green here happening after we bottomed out in April. Some red, green, red, some more green here happening, and I think maybe this week might be actually pretty good week for us. We'll have to wait and see. All right, that is it. I'm looking forward to this week. I'm a little sad that July is ending already. We're getting into August, and then August, and we still have, well, basically kids get back to school in August, and then we have September, and then we start getting into the colder months again, and we go back into the slump of winter. Unfortunately, where we're all stuck inside at that point. All right, but that's it. Let's get into Q&A. See what you guys have to say on that, and we'll call it a day. So here we go. As always, if you guys could preface your questions with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And I'm going to work my way up and work my way down as always, and we'll work our way down here. Trying to find a question here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, covered that already. Hold on. I saw one here. Let me see here. Lucian says, trade deal, let's go crypto. Yeah, there's a trade deal done with Europe. They're going to be buying some autos and some power from us as well. So that's good there. Yeah, Alexander says trade deal with Europe equals money pump. Should help out for this week for sure. Okay. Starmelon Gaming says Crazy Mara isn't profitable even at 119,000. Yeah, I'm actually running the numbers right now from their prior quarter, what they had for costs, revenue, how much they mine Bitcoin, all that stuff. Trying to extrapolate some data on that as far as what is their cost to mine, and then we're going to apply that towards this current quarter and see if we can come up with EPS estimates on these guys here when they start reporting later on this week as well. So they'll be coming out probably tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll look at that. All right, let's see. Mind you, Cleanspark will never break 14. It'll break 14. It'll get there. All right. Let's see. Xander says, I don't think Trump will go ahead with his threat, putting 100% tariffs on India, China, and Brazil for trading with Russia. Market does not believe he is serious because it will hurt U.S. too much. Possibly there. Okay. DGHI has a question here. Should I dump HPC miners for pure players, Mara? That's not an easy question to answer because they can always get the thought process is they can possibly get a deal with somebody, right, for their megawatts that they have there. Right now, we haven't seen it yet. We've seen it only with Core. We've seen it also with TeraWolf. And then the other guys that are getting into it, obviously, are trying to find something there. So if they get a deal, that's going to pump the stock. Mara has a huge hodl position. Their operations are not great again for some reason. We'll see what their operational update is like for July here. I'm guessing it's going to be down from where it was actually even in June, which is not good. So Mara, I don't know if it's going to get the love that it needs. I think their cost to mine is high. They need to get that lower as well. The only thing that they have going for them is the hodl that they have right now. But they need to fix their operations, get that working properly. All right. Sarmelon says, do a poll 4-year cycle or extended cycle. All right, let's do a poll. Bear with me here. We'll do a poll on it really quick. You guys, I think, know my opinion on it. I think it's going to be an extended cycle. Start a poll. Let's see. Will we have an extended cycle with BTC? BTC. All right. Starting poll right now. Let's see what you guys have to say on that one. Okay. DGF says Cleanspark, Riot still growing. Cleanspark's growing. Riot is not. Riot paused their growth in Bitcoin mining to concentrate on HPC AI. All right, let's see here. Private says it's getting exciting with BTC going toward 180,000, even 200,000. It is, yeah. We definitely need that. I think it's gonna be really good for the miners too, as well. Okay, Sarah Mellon says, Chris, this BTC run isn't retail driven for the first time in BTC's history. I think the opposite. I think it's more institution driven right now, corporate driven as well. Companies buying up Bitcoin and all that stuff. But we will actually see. I think we'll see retail get back into it. Unfortunately, in there, what's the word I'm looking for? Unfortunately for the timing on their part will probably be towards the highs, but I think we won't have a correction like we have in the past with Bitcoin. Alexander says retail is too broke to buy anything. Not necessarily. I don't think they're too broke. Yes, it's a different dynamic this time around than what we've seen in the past. Brad says frustrating that Cleanspark is still around 12 now. Yes, but I think it will go up. We're seeing the short starting to cover. We've seen it probably around like a 30-some% decrease in the number of percentage of short being there on them. So that should be helping out going forward here. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Chris says AI equals big job losses, potentially. Everybody's going to get affected by this. In one way or another, we're all going to get affected. The only thing is we can start preparing for it now and start trying to see where we could, best utilize our talents, best utilize our brains a little bit as well, right? We may see definitely a changing in the job market there. Private says, I don't see Cleanspark going toward 33. I think it can go 2x from where it is right now as long as Bitcoin goes up basically 2x from here. I think it can do that, but it can definitely do a lot better depending where Bitcoin goes. Alexander says, what bothers me about AI is that there is no one behind the curtain. It is dead inside. It thinks of nothing. It is just a machine which spits out most logical answers. Currently, yes, but they are in the process of making it to where it starts thinking for itself as well. So eventually, I think Elon said within the next year, they should start seeing it where it's actually possibly creating new materials, new new metals, maybe those types of things, right? But they're thinking that it could do that probably within the next year, which is just bonkers. Chris says, Sebastian, AI will invent a medicine for bald people like us, full head of hair incoming soon. LOL. Okay, that might be. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's all DNA driven, right? If you could change the DNA and restore some of the functionality of some of the cells there, yeah, you could regrow hair. All right, so says IREN will go to 50 billion plus. Again, they need a deal with somebody, or if they go at it themselves, it's going to be costly. But if they go at it themselves and try to build out become a hyperscaler at this point, like a Google or XAI or something like that, I mean, you're looking at billions of dollars to do that. They could possibly do that, right? But they're behind the ball right now as it is in order to do that. XAI caught up relatively quickly within the last 2 years from where they were to basically overtake some of these guys here. It's not impossible, but you need a lot of money. And you got the name recognition with Elon, right? Whenever Elon does a new thing, new startup or something like that, you got money just flowing in his direction. So it's also a different catalyst there. It's a different, it's hard for others to do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Alexander's got a question here. So how do you think Cleanspark can be sustainable long-term, even having is cutting the reward and the fees are horrible? Can they really compete against free energy miners from other countries? Yeah, as long as Bitcoin goes up, right? They can also rotate their machines, some of the older ones, as newer ones come online, right? We're now talking about sub 10 joules per terahash. Eventually, in 2 to 3 years, we could be at less than 5 joules per terahash. So as they bring on more efficient machines, they can also mine more, even though we're going to have the halving event. And as long as Bitcoin doesn't go into this historical 4-year cycles where it corrects 70-80%, the miners actually should do a lot better for a lot longer period of time. So that's kind of where I'm looking at to see if that's going to be the case. I think it is, but we're still early in this. So a lot can change here in the next couple months, couple years even. Let's see. Sorry, Mel. Question based on BTC technicals. How are we looking in the near term sub? How are we looking in the near term sub? Bitcoin technicals. I think right now, I mean, we're looking good to have another run up on it. Price appreciation. I don't see anything that would stop us right now. The thing that might help us out is if we get some rate cuts from the Fed. That would definitely put a lot more money going into risk on assets, I think. That would help. But other than that, I think it's just Bitcoin's consolidating here a little bit, and we're setting up the next step to go up higher. But it's going to be a bumpy ride, as always. All right. Private's got a question here. When do you think Cleanspark will break out of their limiting range and start taking off and hit 20s on their way even to the 30s this bull run? I think we just need Bitcoin to go up. As Bitcoin continues to go up, I think we're going to see more and more of the shorts cover there. And we already, like I said, I already saw that happen here just recently in the last probably 2 months or so. But there's still like, 20-some% of shorts in there. So that's going to happen over time. It should go up. I think also maybe if they come up with good numbers for their earnings per share when they report, that might be a nice catalyst there also to maybe pump the stock up. We'll see. Okay, thoughts on SBET, UXPI, etc. Treasury companies outperforming miners. Different time frames, yes, they might outperform the miners here, but again, with those guys, how much of a premium do you want to give them, really? I mean, should they be getting 2x MNAV? Probably not, right? I think they should be getting maybe a little bit of a premium on it, but not that much. So I think sometimes the hype just outruns the actual price of where they should be based on, and then they cool back down. We saw that with strategy last year. We saw it plenty of times actually where it just front ran Bitcoin and everybody else, and then it corrected because it just got stupidly overpriced at that point, and then it came back down. So yeah, I don't know. Windsor Park says bit dear to the moon. All right, what else we got here? All right, Un's got a question here. Which one do you expect more potential in terms of price action this week? Cleanspark or Psycho Cleanspark versus IREN? I mean, IREN has already had a nice run up here. I would say maybe Cleanspark. Maybe they'll get their turn this time around because IREN's still pretty high up there, and it's holding pretty well also, which is nice. It hasn't pulled back, so yeah. But I think Cleanspark is due for a little run there as well. All right. Let's see, Chris says, polls tell me we will have 4-year cycle and big dump. I will be all cash while you guys will see your gains go down and minus. Okay, so Chris, you're still thinking that we're going to have a regular 4-year cycle. Sadie, hi there. Thank you again for all the likes. Appreciate it. All right, Jay, miners diluted so hard, market caps at all-time highs while price is very low despite BTC pushing 120,000. Surely even if BTC goes to 200,000, these miners only have max 100% moves in them. Yeah, so I mean, basically we're looking at a 2x from here on these guys, right? Bitcoin goes 2x, they go 2x. They could do better because their margins are going to be getting better at 200,000. So that should maybe help them out. I'm saying at the bare minimum, they should at least do a 2x from here, along with Bitcoin. All right, let's see. Muddy Oaks Homestead. AI will wipe away whole categories of jobs, not just job loss, but it will bring new employment opportunities we haven't even thought of. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a transformational time period around the world, not just the United States, but in all over the place when this does go through. I mean, we're looking probably in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, Chris says, if we have an extended cycle, that means Mara will do the best. Think about it. Rest my case. Again, you would think that with Bitcoin being where it's at right now, Mara has been lagging, has not been performing as well as it probably should. What's the reasoning behind it? Is it because their operations are not, consistent? That could be it. Their cost to mine is high. That could be it. Don't know. We'll see. I don't know if Mara's going to do like it did last cycle, where it was up 70x from the bottom to the top. All right, Mr. X here. Question 1, will Cleanspark go to the moon? As Bitcoin goes to the moon, I think Cleanspark will follow it. So just be patient, I think. Price got a question here. What do you think Cleanspark's price will be when BTC is 50% higher at 180,000? Well, at that point, I would think that Cleanspark would be closer to $20, not above $20 at that point, somewhere around there. But it could be actually higher than that as well. That's kind of where I would think it would be a fair value at that point. It should be higher valued right now as it is. All right, Thad's got a question here. Analysts predicting Bitcoin hitting 200,000 this year. What is your prediction? Thank you for the live. You are the big help to our worries. Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you. My original estimates, this was before Bitcoin got the ETFs. My original estimates for Bitcoin this cycle, if we had a previous cycle like we had in the past, was around Bitcoin getting to about 180,000. But with all of the adoption and everything else that we're seeing here, with obviously the Bitcoin ETFs, the companies buying up Bitcoin, all the stuff that we're seeing here and that we talk about every day. Based on that, I think we're going to be going to like 200,000 this year, somewhere around there. I'd say between 150,000 to 200,000, I think is fair. And then next year, we're going to continue on going up even higher, right? Maybe getting to like 300,000 by the end of next year. And then just continue going up from there as well as time progresses, right? The percentage gains on Bitcoin are going to be smaller, but the dollar amount is going to be just much, much higher. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. What else here? Price got a question here. 200,000 might be the max on BTC this cycle. That's 66% more than now. What price do you think Cleanspark will get at that point? It's basically at least a 2x from where it's at right now. That's bare minimum of what I would think. All right, let's see. Sailor Moon says, thinking of cashing out I'm guessing the miners, I'm guessing. You got to look at your own financial situation, and if you're up nicely, yeah, cash out, right? There's no shame in taking profits. Jay's got a question here. Do you have conservative targets for Bitfarms? Do you still hold them? Yes, I still hold a third of the shares that I had from last year. I had almost 24,000 there. Last year I sold two-thirds of it, so I still hold a third of it. And I think they should be higher from where they are right now. I mean, maybe once they get right off their backs completely sells out of the shares that they own there, maybe we could see that one getting to like $3 at that point. And then if they get something for their sites in Pennsylvania for HPCI deal, and then we're looking up definitely higher here. Plus, if they buy back some shares, that should help out also there. Let's see. Dynamite Uber question. What if the miners' market cap go up 2x, but the actual stock price only goes up 50%? That would suck hard. That'd be a lot of dilution, obviously. Right, if that's the case here. We know that, at least for Cleanspark, they're not diluting anything right now. throughout maybe the end of the year here as well. They shouldn't dilute, so that's going to be good for the stock. It should do well. The other ones that are diluting, we'll have to wait and see how much they dilute. We'll see how much they dilute in the last quarter, too, coming up here in about a week or so. So a good idea to cash out before September and get back in around October. That I don't know. It might be. I mean, usually September has not been a good month for Bitcoin historically. So historically in the bull runs like 2017, 2021, we had a nice July, August, right, in the green here. But September has not been kind to us at that point. 2017, we were in the red. 2021, we've been in the red here, and we got more red months here in September than we do have green. We only got 4 green months here going back to 2013. So that might be the way to play it, maybe. But again, if this is a different cycle, things could be different here as well. I mean, we've already had 4 months in a row of green here. Last time we've had this was back in 2017. So if we get another one in August, a green month here, we're probably going to be due for a little bit of a pullback here, and September might be it. So that might be one way to play it as well. Let's go back here. And I got about 4 minutes left before I'm joining Ernest on X there. We'll talk about things there. Let's see, Simon, I think I've caught up to all your guys' questions as well. Dave's got a question here really quick. What is the purpose or benefits of Hive bringing the, nothing, it's just getting their name out there. That's it. Publicity, basically. All right, Chris, what's the next level of liquidity for BTC? I mean, to the upside. I mean, once we get past 123, we're in uncharted territory. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. And then Chris got a question: why 2011 whales are dumping 80,000 Bitcoin if we will have an extended cycle and 200,000 soon? Why? They're up 9 billion. You know, profits. It could be for many reasons there. For whatever reason. The guy got divorced or whatever, and his wife is taking half of it, right? Could be a number of reasons why. But 9 billion, having 9 billion, not having 9 billion, right? You can have a nice life there for the rest of your life there. And your kids and your grandkids and everybody else down the line. Private's got a question here. Even if it's an extended cycle longer than just 4 years, would you think that there will be dips of 20 to 25% at least? Yeah. I can definitely see having dips going down to 30%. We saw 2 dips already of 30% here in the last year alone. Let's see. When is Mara earnings? Is it moved? I don't think it's moved. I think it's still the 27th, I think. Right? Wait a minute. Today is it tomorrow? 28th or the 29th? I can't remember. I know it's like this week. Let's see. How much time do I have left? Let's see. Then it says it was estate planning. The whale died is their prevalent theory. Yeah, so died, divorce, whatever it might be. All right, Private says, thanks so much for the help in sharing your thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate you guys coming in here. And then join me if you would be so kind with Ernest here on X in a little bit. We'll talk about, obviously, all the news stories on Bitcoin miners here this past week. And then there might be some interesting people on there as well that we might have a chance to just talk with them as well. Let's see here. July 29th is Mara's report, and can you check? Someone posted that it's a week late. Oh, we'll have to check on that one. Bit Digital by the end of the year, bought some last week as an Ethereum play. Yeah, I don't know, depending on how much more traction we get in Ethereum on that one. And then let's see, DGF's got one more question here. Okay, if only Mara and Riot are pure plays, should HPC be ditched as bubble hype and Mag 7 out competing or even start miners? Well, Riot's not a pure place right now. Riot's trying to get into HPCI business. Mara more or less is a pure play. Cleanspark is a pure play. Those are the only 2 left here. Is it a hype? I mean, right now it seems like it's hype, but there's a lot of... The hype is driven because of facts. There's need for megawatts, need for land. There's all that stuff, right? And they need all that. But we can discuss it later on here because I'm going to be getting on with Ernest here. So thank you so much for coming in, as always, you guys and gals. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully it's going to be a nice green weekend for you guys as well. And we'll talk about everything tomorrow. All right. I'll see you guys then. See ya. Bye.